Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love seeing everybody. So turn your camera on, please. All right, look, we talked yesterday about eliminating distractions. So I want to revisit this concept of a 10-minute business plan today. Does anyone currently use this? Okay, Antonio, I'm going to unmute you. My man, how are you?
Good buddy, how you doing?
You need a great Hamptons broker. I know Antonio since I've worked at Compass for 5 years. He's a great guy to connect with, and an awesome, even better human. So when you use the 10-minute business plan, tell me how you used it and ultimately what you've realized out of actually doing it.
Well, basically, it's just me telling myself like I have to focus on one thing at a time and making sure that if I have the resources to time block that or resources to have people from my team or my virtual assistant help me with that goal, I go ahead and we implement all of that together and everybody takes whatever they're good at and we all get that one thing done at a time.
How's it been in terms of tracking your distractions and eliminating?
I mean, it can be difficult, especially if you're like telling everybody to help you with something and let's all focus on this together. And then the phone rings and you look at that one call and you're like, I really should take that call. But like you always say, like nothing's going to happen in the 15, 20 minutes or an hour between then and when you actually have that conversation with that person. So it's one of those times where you just have to forget the phone exists.
Yeah, and look, it's a big, like the part that I want to really hit on this is it's really simple. If someone's looking to hire you for professional services and the difference between answering that phone and not answering the phone is a deal, unless asterisk you're paying for online leads, right? It should never make a difference because if not, they're hiring somebody out of crisis and who can answer the phone first. And there's the saying I have of how it starts is how it goes, right? So look, he's able to focus what he does. Now, here's my challenge to you. The distractions and what you'll do differently right now are the two most important things that you need to focus on, right? Because if you look at your brain, it's like an ocean, right? So we already know from 0 to 1, your brain is not going to set you up for success to do anything different, new, uncomfortable, and great. It's just going to keep you where you are because it's what it knows. It's like where people are in really bad abusive relationships, and anyone from the outside can look at this relationship like, what are you doing? Right? Everyone's had a friend like that at some point, or some of us have maybe been in that. But as they say, you're better off choosing the devil, and like that's kind of the saying in this, right? That situation's comfortable. Starting all over, being by yourself, having to deal with this stuff is uncomfortable, so you stay in the bad situation. It's the same thing in human performance and unlocking your promise. See, we all do the same things because it makes us feel comfortable. So if you track your distractions, your brain's like an ocean, and by writing them down, now they become massive icebergs that you can actually look at. And then when you say to yourself, this is what I'll do differently, you're programming your brain to have a proactive response system to when like a problem happens. And if you do this consistently and you do this through the end of the year, you will have momentum in your productivity that you've never had before. So the 10-minute business plan, we could unpin Antonio. Thank you. So everyone could get something out of that. So look, what happens is this. Your job is to focus on one thing every day, the most important thing. Brian Tracy, eat the frog. It's what things you're doing to create income for yourself that don't exist today. Then the rest of it is, well, how do I really make myself productive? That's tracking distractions and eliminating them. And if you're not doing that every day, how are you improving what you do? Yes or no? Is the economy going to get any easier? No. Is there any sign of interest rates going down? Nope. Is there any signs of more inventory massively just coming to the market? No. Is there any signs of the government economic policies lowering inflation? Nope. Every sign says everything is going to get harder, more difficult, and more expensive. So what does that mean to us? I love using Jim Rohn, and he says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And, you get that voice stuck in your head. And I was listening to Jim this morning, and it's true, and the other quote he has, he says, in life, you can always have more than you've got because you can always be more than you are. On the flip side of things, if you don't change who you are, you'll always have what you got. And the third one is, for things to change for you, you have to change. So what are you willing to do? It's not going to get easier. Wish you're better. We can all be better every single day. The amount of time that's wasted on dumb shit that everyone does, excuse my language, every day is obscene. It literally is obscene. Where in the end of the day, if you spent 90 minutes a day reaching out to new people, writing handwritten notes, talking to Compass agents, and practicing what you need to learn 30 minutes a day, your entire business would be different. If you did that and through a 10-minute business plan, everything in your life would change. And then the question is why can't we do something focused for 2 hours a day? And a 10-minute business plan adds 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the night. I'm asking you to be focused for 2 hours and 20 minutes a day to have the things you want in life. The question is, why can't we do it? Does anybody know? Interesting conversation today, huh? You want me to tell you why?
It's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Yeah. Motivation, Jeff, actually the word motivation comes from the word motive to act. Does anyone know their KPIs of money? Anybody? Go to our platform and write KPIs of money and download that spreadsheet. When you see the cost to run your life every day, every week, every month, every year, and then you add the cost of running your business every day, every week, every month, every year, and you look at that blended average, it will scare the hell out of you. You should put that thing up on big numbers so you can look at it every day. And right above it, this is the cost of doing nothing. You know what? I say this to people all the time. It's uncomfortable doing things that you don't feel like doing, that are different to you, that are not habitual to you. But you know what's really uncomfortable and sucks? Being broke. Not having money for the things you want. Looking at those 20%, 25% interest on those credit cards. Spending your tax money and then having a tax bill and owing the IRS money. Not having deals, being able to tell people that you care about or yourself no for things that you should have. That's what really sucks. And what worries me is that if I can't get you guys to do these essentially 2.5 hours of stuff every day, I know it's going to happen to you. I know it is. It's inevitable. It's like you watch the Thanos, I think is the guy in Avengers. He's like, I'm inevitable. Well, there's certain things that are inevitable in this business. If you don't do anything like this, it's inevitable that you're going to be in debt. If you don't do things like this, it's inevitable that you're going to lose clients. In the world of squeeze commissions, where everyone wants to hold on to their dollars now, it's inevitable that people are going to ask you why you get paid what you get paid. All of these things are inevitable. This lawsuit and this coming to a head was inevitable. If you catch me in a private conversation and you're like a friend of mine, I will go on an epic rant about this commission thing like you've never heard before in your life, and your eyes will open like this. I think we all forget that clients and consumers forget that you guys are people with heartbeats and that you're not people just to be pounded on all day and that you have a right to have a life. I think we forget in the words that we use with people that these are people too going through an immensely challenging change in their life, and they need our support, they need our guidance, they need us to be organized, they need us to be on point. You know, if you're training for like a boxing match or a fight, like you're in the trenches every day. You're waking up early, you're doing double training time. Like this is what this is. It's a boxing match. It's a fight. You guys have to be ready to fight for yourselves, for your families, for your business. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm trying to motivate you.
Hi, Joyce.
Like you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. Why? What's your why? You know, how many people have kids here? Most people. How many people have something else that they love in their life like a kid? All right, good. Everybody. Look, there's a couple sayings I'll share with you. They're saying like, you know, I would do anything for my kids. I do anything for the people I love. Well, do you love these people enough to wake up early, be disciplined, follow your schedule, do the things you need to do? That's love. It's discipline. If you have kids, they're looking at you. Every time you take a phone call in your car and you're going back and forth to the client or doing something when you should be spending time to them, you're literally training them. I'm telling you, I know some kids of lifetime realtor parents that are on the phone all the time. Man, these people got trauma, like real trauma. Martha said it best. We not only have to fight, we need to be educated and able to articulate our value and our worth, which is the fee. All right, so let's get into the next level of this. There are two gaps that people have in their life for human performance and getting to the next level. It's a knowledge gap and a skill gap. And you need to understand the difference in the both and then how to train to it. Knowledge gap is, let me see, I'm looking at Ross today. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I just moved to Denver. I've sold real estate in New York City, which means I'm an amazing broker. I know how to show property and I know how to market property, the best in the country. Now, what is my knowledge gap? I don't know anything about Denver, Colorado. I don't know about the schools. I don't know about the community. I don't know about the restaurants. And I sure as hell don't know about the market. That is a knowledge gap. So now I know what my knowledge gap is. So then I can put in my schedule and train to it. Skill gap. If a buyer says to me, Chirag, well, what do you do for the 2.5%, 3%, 1%, whatever it is that I'm paying you, having that conversation is a skill. Being able to present your unique value proposition is a skill. Those are actual skills that you need. Showing property, if you have to show property and actually sell people like you do in New York City, that's a skill. That's not knowledge, that's skills. So you have to understand what are your knowledge gaps and what are your skill gaps and what do you want to work on? The question is where does all your time go in a day? Think about it. Robert Refkin and you have the same amount of time in a day. Elon Musk and you have the same amount of time in a day. Tony Robbins and all of us have the same amount of time in a day. So the question is how do certain people get more out of a day than another? Like, look, you need to know in change, there are two things, right? Cost and payoffs. So the way that your brain works is when you don't do something that you know you should do, Joyce, this is a good one, right? Like being uncomfortable. You don't like making the calls, right? Or, oh no, here's my favorite one. I don't have time for that. So the payoff that you're saying, well, you know, I have so much going on. I don't have time for that. It's not going to happen. It's really okay. That's the payoff you give yourself. The payoff is the justification to the action. But what's really the cost? When you understand the cost is greater than the payoff, your behaviors and actions will change. I'll say that again. When your cost becomes greater than the payoff, your actions and behaviors will change. I'll give you an example. Say you're a smoker. People that smoke cigarettes will tell you, well, I do it socially. It helps me with stress. I need something in my hand, whatever it is. You go to a doctor one day and the doctor says, if you continue smoking, you have a 95% chance of getting emphysema. Then all of a sudden that payoff is not nearly as great as the cost, and your behavior generally will change like this. So you need to understand like how your brain works. What are the payoffs? Every single time that you do something that you know you shouldn't do, start asking yourself is now, what's the payoff I'm getting? What's the payoff I'm getting? What's the payoff I'm getting? And then what's really the cost? By not doing this 90 minutes a day, you're potentially losing 20 deals a year. Multiply that by your GCI. So each day you do it, you potentially risk losing that much money. If we don't have time for something, that's not a priority. Let me tell you one thing I know, Myri, about life. People find time for the things that are most important to them. Look, I will use myself as an example. I would think I'm a fairly busy person, right? I'm divorced. I have my kids half the time. I'm very present in picking them up from school. We have a company that has 5 employees, 6 coaches. We have all of these different programs we do. We have live events we do. I have my corporate relationships with Compass. I have all my individual clients. I have the training, the planning, the programming, and all these different things, right? And do you know what I want to find time to consistently do? And you're going to all laugh. It's watch TV. I love watching TV shows because it's literally one of the only things that allows me to turn my brain off besides even being with my kids. Like I could binge watch, like my girlfriend went to Dominican Republic to see her mom and she was gone for a week. And in the days that weekend, I didn't have my kids. And do you know what I did? I got all my work done in the week, like your work expands or contracts to the time allotted. And I literally sat there for the entire weekend just ordering food and binge watching Netflix. And I was the happiest person in the world. The happiest. Billions has their series finale and Bobby Axelrod's coming back. So now my brain's like, okay, how do I get my work done? How do I get my work done? What can I delegate? What can I do? Because I want to be able to take the time over the next like 2 weeks to finish watching that series, right? Because those things draw inspiration for me. And it gives me a sense of freedom that I'm not just working all the time. That's something I've always liked doing for myself. Even when, my brother and I lived at home with our parents after college, we all loved watching TV shows together, 24 and Prison Break. So what's that thing for you that you make time for? What are all the stupid things you make time for social media? You'll spend more time on social media every week, most people, and on your screen scrolling than you will on yourself and your business. And that's scary. Man, you start going in TikTok, it is a whole nother world than Instagram because the information is actually decent. Like you could literally learn anything from TikTok. My friend asked me about buying a car lease the other day. I was like, you're going to think I've lost my mind in saying this. I'm like, dude, go on TikTok. I go, the amount of good information there is insane. Instagram is like drama and entertainment. TikTok, you could actually build a lot of stuff and learn from. But there's so many different things. Like if you guys use Opus Clip, you could all start creating content. That gives you time back. So we need to look for what are those multipliers. Technology is an amazing thing. So who has an aha takeaway moment, an action that they're going to do differently? Because I want people to start prompting and think like, okay, Myri's going to do this different. I can do it too. And if everyone doesn't have an accountability partner to do work with, you have to find one or you won't do anything. I shared this, I think, with the group yesterday. One of my old assistants, I found that she wasn't doing things. She found that I wasn't doing things. So we would set up, or she would set up these calls where she's like, all right, go do the work. And I was like, wait a second, there are things I need you to do. Go do the work. And we literally would go on there. We would not say anything to each other by the virtual, just looking at each other. If she's seen me looking down, like, don't look at your phone. Don't do it. Nope, sorry. And then I realized, like, I'm going to be a hypocrite if I do that. So I would sit there and we'd get the work done that way. That's why next year, one of the things that we're doing every week is live prospecting. It is more valuable than even this. Because imagine if we can get hundreds of people to show up and everyone's on their phone. You have to show up with your screen on and you have to be in front of your computer and you have to make calls or work in your CRM. Could you imagine if you did that one time a week for 30 to 60 minutes over the course of an entire year, how much your business would change? And if you have a question, you can put it in the chat. What do I say to this person? Boom, I'm going to give you the answer. You're going to be able to make the call. Peter Diaz, I do that every day at 10 a.m. on Google Meet. Peter, unmute yourself. Who do you do it with?
Camarillo in Florida. So at 10 a.m. we set up a Google recurring appointment at 10 a.m. And when we're done here, I hop over there and I just start calling agents, past clients, texting for that 1 hour time block. And it's in my calendar now. old school. I just keep track of it and I check it off.
And that is the perfect way to go about doing this. Everyone should leave here, unless you're like Mo in San Francisco, right? Joyce in San Francisco, where you literally can't call people at 7 o'clock in the morning, but you could fire off messages. You could write handwritten notes. You can, if I was on the West Coast, I'd be looking at all my East Coast partners and I would be setting up these calls to get to know everyone. Like I'd be obsessed in making a goal to meet every agent playbook. Next year, this community is going to get even bigger. Who else has a different aha moment that they want to share? Or who here just feels like, holy shit, what do I do? Mo, you feel that way? Unmute yourself.
So yeah, Chirag, I'm doing a little bit better. I mean, because I'm on a program for a year almost, I started in the spring and right now it's my second session. I see lots of improvement, but really I'm very ambitious. I want everything right now. I mean, so the progress is, I like it a little bit faster for myself and very slow. So, changing the habit, Chirag, it's not easy. And, so there is lots of information, lots of programs, but I'm doing better, as I'm saying, and I appreciate that.
Look, it's not, right? Thank you, Mo. Change is not easy, and the older you get, the harder it is. But just remember this. You can either choose to change this for yourself, or the world is going to choose them for you. And if the world is choosing them for you, it sucks because you have no control, right? I remember being in the Hamptons for a live training session. This was in 2019. And there was a top agent that came over from Corcoran. And what he was saying to me is, I can't understand why, after all of these years, the company is so malicious. They're so vindictive and everything else. And I said, look, I go, you're married, right? I go, that's your wife? And they go, yeah. I go, imagine somebody came up to you and just literally took your wife from you. And no matter what you said and what you did, there's nothing they could do about it. That's what it feels like when people choose to change this for you. It's the worst feeling in the world. Listen, if you really want to know this, I know an agent, I won't use her name, but her company, when Compass recruited her, offered her 100% commission and an insane marketing and admin budget. So literally they were going to pay her to stay there and she could keep every one of her dollars, and she still said no and came here. The world is going to change, whether you like it or not. And I'm here telling you, you can all get ahead of this today. What do you do in the 90 minutes? Contact 5 people in your database, reach out to 3 Compass agents, ideally in this group, and write 2 handwritten notes. That's it. Look, those 5 calls a day will be 25 calls a week, 100 calls a month, 10 months out of the year, not even all the months. That's 1,000 conversations, a 1% conversion rate. That's 10 deals. That's like the conversion rate of sending direct mail to strangers that you don't even know. The 3 contacts for a week is 15 a month, 15 a week, 60 a month, 600 a year. Could you imagine if you're growing your database by building good relationships with 600 new people a year? At the end of 5 years, what kind of referral network you'd have and what kind of knowledge you're able to pull? Incredible. 2 handwritten notes, 10 a week, 40 a month, 400 a year. 10, 6, 4 at 1%, 1,000, 600, and 400. There's 20 deals there at a 1% conversion rate. Is it really that hard to do? Nope. So look, in my world of just continuing to reinvent things, just, the nice part is if you coach me, if it doesn't work one way, you come back with another way. You can come back another way and we'll come back another way. Look, Melissa Rubin has been one of my original clients and she's been a client forever. Do you know what we do in coaching a lot of times? She knows that she writes these amazing emails And the funny thing is I get the emails and sometimes I'm like, oh man, Melissa, this is a great email. She's like, no, Chirag, you wrote this email. But she also realizes that this is somewhere she gets stuck. So we'll sit there literally for an hour. I'll put my music on. She'll put her music on, and I'll literally write 6 months to a year of her emails because she knows that that's a gap for her, and I'll do it. Right. But that's a partnership. If you know you don't know what to say, use our words. If you don't know how to pitch technology, use our tech video. You have to use them. I hope you don't mind I share those kind of on the spot, but you have to realize how to get the most out of the resources you have and just build one step by one step. But the goal is to complete a step. Could you imagine for those of us who have kids and loved ones that they just kept starting things and stopping things and going to the next thing? What would you say to them? We all know what we need to do. But I think we need confidence and community today more than ever to get that done. So look, anyone that needs an accountability partner, next year we have a much cooler system on how we're going to do this and how we're going to connect people. 26 sheets, but I have again reinvented group coaching. So now we're on our 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth or fifth iteration. But each time it gets a little better and people do it a little more. People all need this next year. I can tell you personally, I've doubled down on all my coaching consulting for next year because guess what? I have the same mentality you do. The cost of your business, the cost of my household equals the cost of figuring out on my own. No thanks. But then it comes down to being coachable and just following directions. You don't need to do a lot in a week to grow. You really don't. If you attended one playbook session that would spoke to your goals, and then you spent the next 5 days practicing your skills, coming to live prospecting, and spent the next 5 days building and implementing that one thing, and then went to the next thing. Imagine it, in 90 days, you get 12 mini transformations. But that's focusing on just one thing at a time, week by week. Can we all do that? So part of this is look, you're a compass. There's tons of information. You come here, there's tons of information. But I think the magic going forward is figuring out how to personalize the information to your unique goals and then telling you just where you need to go and just focus on that one thing. And remember, these are annual programs, right? It's 6 months or biannual or annual. So it works out that the numbers and time are in your favor. It's discipline, consistency, and patience. You have to have patience in allowing these things to be built and implemented. So we're going to leave the Zoom open for the next couple minutes. Find an accountability partner. Look, whatever you need, we're going to send her son. We're going to add in our email this week, and this will be at the top of her email. What is the biggest challenge in your business today? Give me all the answers. Give me all your questions. And we'll start making sure that we answer those questions. Because if you're saying it, there's 100 other people saying it. So look, I hope what I'm saying today goes right here to your heart. I hope you're not scared and you can really look in the mirror and believe in yourself. We all need confidence in this person right here. That's what we need today. We need our heart. And our heart needs to drive our decisions and know that we can do this. I'm not going anywhere. We're continuously figuring out how we can add more, not more for the sake of more. How can we add more support? How can we do the work for you? How can we give you better scripts? How can we personalize this? How can we create accountability for you where you know where to go and what to do? That is what our goal is. So I am relentlessly obsessed about everyone here being light years ahead of everyone else. But I need you to look in the mirror and believe in yourself. That's my only ask. And the rest of it we'll give you. So chat remains open. Whoever's going to be the first brave person says, I need an accountability partner. Put your email in. The next person says, I'll email you. Take the email, get started. All right. With love in my heart, I love you all. You can see what we're actually talking about tomorrow, so I won't get any more of these hate messages. So thank you all. And I'll be giving you more details. We have a lot of great things coming up between business planning, We have a masterclass series for you all this year. So it's pretty cool.
Chirag, would
Mhm.
you do something on accountability format or the best way to get the most out of accountability session?
Yeah.
That would be helpful. I mean, because it's easy to go off track. And yeah, thank you.
So on Monday, show up with your camera on. We're going to put you all into groups together. So if you have no interest in being in an accountability session, stay home on Monday. Monday is for people that want to work and want to do the work and don't want to listen and want to be action takers. So we'll connect you with the groups. We'll go through the group format. I'll tell you what to do, what not to do, and how to tighten up this process so you actually get something out of it. If you have people in your group that are just showing up to complain, kick them out. And if they say, why can't I be in the group? Because Chirag said so. Blame me. And they have my email. You cannot show up to a group where people are showing up to better themselves and steal their time with negativity. No negativity allowed. No complaints allowed. This thing is only for people that want to be in a proactive process. That the group's job is not to solve your personal problems. So I'm going to leave this open. And by the way, next year, if you are in our playbook community, or well, I can't tell you the name of it, but it's something different and it's better. We'll have some days, maybe once a quarter, whatever it is, we'll figure it out. We'll literally be an open day, and anyone that's part of this community can come here, meet here, work. Dave and I'll be here for the day. We built this whole office space for people to be here, right? You can record videos here. It's pretty cool. So stay tuned. I like to be Willy Wonka. I like to offer fun experiences. And look, my success is your success. If you're not successful, we failed. That's how I feel. This is not a matter of, well, you know what? You guys invested in a program. We gave you all these coaching sessions. So you got what you paid for. Now it's not what it's about. I need you to do something. And as you see, we're a couple minutes over. I'm late to my next call, but it's really important that I just keep saying this to you over and over and over again. You have to take action. You have to take action. You have to take action. And it starts here with believing in yourself. So chat remains open. Start connecting. And I'll talk to you all soon. Love everybody. Bye.